another one.
So this question says, QA managers, how do you know if manual QA is testing deeply enough? This is an issue I face at my company. I can see bugs going live. Do you look at each bug that is found live and track if these could have been found by QA, then update the testing plan? I see some teams have more bugs going live, but they are also releasing more complex features. So, I don't know if testing is effective. If changing that QA to another team would help. So, that is an excellent first question. And here is how I'm going to see it. I have been a QA manager in the past. Actually, I've been QA manager for the automation team, but I also did work closely with the QA manager, and I've been doing QA for a long time in all realms, right? So, what I'm going to say is if a bug goes live, you should, number one, log it as a defect, right? And what we do is we do a root cause analysis, depending on what the cause, right? So we can either do a root cause analysis or we can do a postmortem, right? Depending on like what's happening, right? So the root cause analysis pretty much figures out like what caused this issue to happen, and then what do you do to prevent it in the future and stuff like that. Um, Sorry, good guy, I failed you already. I apologize. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so the root cause analysis. Well, yeah, like I was saying, it'll find out like what caused it and could it have been prevented and things like that, right? But the thing about bugs going live, that's always going to happen. And we try as QA to reduce it as much as possible. Like definitely you don't want any obvious bugs, right? There's always edge cases that can creep through and stuff like that, and then you have to go like you might have to roll back the release or you might fix it forward, whatever the case may be, right? But the part that like is really important in this question, right? Do you look at each bug that is found live and track if these could have been found by QA? I'm going to say yes, right? And it's not only like it's not, and it's yes, but there's an asterisk. It's not only found by QA because the whole entire team is responsible for the software development process, right? For testing and that's why I believe that the QA engineer is responsible for facilitating the testing and to like come up with a test plan, come up with a test strategy, um, you know, come up with the automated tests and everything like that. But you cannot work in a silo. You need to bring in the entire team, right? I even like the product manager or the product owner should know what's going on. The scrum master should know what's going on. You should be in daily constant communication with your developers so they can give you feedback. You can give them feedback, right? Everyone should contribute to the testing process, but you are the facilitator, you are the engineer, you are putting everything together so that you can have a consensus about okay, this is how we're going to approach this. And then you can think about like the edge cases that like after the specific stuff, right? Then you can think about the edge cases. They can also share with you if there's any other edge cases that maybe you are not aware of, so that you can also capture that and you can work on like and then now when you find out like if it's found live and you decide okay what are you going to do if it could have been prevented earlier okay so now you can update the test plan with whatever it is. But the most important thing is, all right, going forward, what can we do? Like, because after you find it live and you fix it, okay, it's fixed, right? But the thing is, what do you do for like what process do you put in place, right? What process do you put in place so that you can not have something like this happen again in the future? There's definitely going to be other bugs that are going live to production, right? The more you release, the faster the cycles go, the more like you just can't catch everything. But the key is how do you like how do you continue to improve your testing strategy, right? So when you say I see some teams have more bugs going live, but they are also releasing more complex features. Um, so I don't know if the testing is effective. That's a discussion that needs to be had, right? What is like do does the QA person on that team understand the software that's being built, right? And I'll tell you this, whatever position that you are, right? Unless you like, and even if you're the one who was the original architect, original developer on an application, you still don't know everything that's going on, and like you don't know that application like the back of your hand, right? Well, I know one developer who would, but in general, 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, most whatever role that you play on the application, you are not going to like know all the ins and outs about every single detail about it, right? And then if you're new onto a team, and if you're a QA, you test it, but you don't know all the like little details behind all the code. So it's possible that something's gonna be missed, but you should learn the application. And if not, then you should spend the time to learn the application, right? Participate in like very, very important. Participate in the meeting that developers have with one another. So many times the QA engineers, they just want to sit around and wait, they sit around and wait till the development is done and they don't know what's going on. Like, trust me, like, you should be writing your test plan, you should be writing the test, but you should also be participating in the conversations that the developers are having because you can be that fly on the wall and then you can like, so many times, right? I've been able to ask a question based on what I'm listening to, like, oh, is this supposed to be like that? And they're like, oh, we didn't think about that. And then they answer that and they make adjustments and everything like that. Or they might have a question for me, like, oh, if you're like when you're testing this, what do you think about that? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we can collaborate and share insight and everything like that. You are part of the development team. You are not just and I think that is the reason that so many QA people end up not liking their job because they feel underused because they don't put themselves in the position to be used. They feel undervalued because they do not look to add value to the team as a whole. All they want to do is sit around and write test cases, maybe write some automation, but they do not contribute to the overall process of the development lifecycle. And I say, if you dedicate your time and effort to the whole comprehensive process, you will find it much more fulfilling and much more exciting. And you'll understand your software better, and you will have less bugs going live into production, and you will just have a better all around experience. All right.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.